Welcome back, trainers. Today we have a mix of two of my favorite things, Pokemon and Bionicle. We've got a few lovely creations today that are all Pokemon themed that are sure to inspire you. So let's dive in and take a look at some mocks from across the Bionicle community. Starting off strong with a shiny Greninja. This was built by Dongwon Yong. Now, if you're not familiar with the frog ninja that is Greninja, this is what they look like. And what a creative use of the black Rakshi headpiece to help replicate the shape of Greninja's face. It is a bit of a different approach, but I like it. Also, nice way of recreating Greninja's tongue. It's a very simple design. You know, you get some red hand sockets, you get some ball joints, and you link them all together with a few axles as well. And that's all you need to get a very posable tongue that looks extremely similar to the original artwork. And speaking of that original artwork, I think that making this guy in black was way easier than making them in dark blue. Dark blue, of course, is more of the traditional color scheme for Greninja. The one that we're looking at here is the rare, shiny variant. And yeah, I think finding enough dark blue Bionicle parts to make this, it might have actually been a little bit too much of a challenge. Dark blue is somewhat common for Bionicle, but I think getting some of those really specialty parts that would allow you to really replicate the source material, that might have been a little bit more difficult. And of course, black pieces, they're way more common. Pretty much every piece exists in black. And you know what? That's maybe something to consider if you do want to build a Bionicle Pokemon. If you don't have many pieces that allow you to replicate the official color scheme for that Pokemon, maybe you should take a look at their shiny form. That color swap might be a little bit easier for you to build, given what you have in your collection. Yeah, I love how posable this mock is, and I also really enjoy how these frog toes have been built. Just getting a few ball joints and putting them on the end? What a good idea. This rocks! Cyanova 32 is up next, and they've brought to life Flygon. Here's the official artwork for my boy, Flygon, right next to this mock. And dude, Cyanova did an amazing job of recreating this. I especially love how they've used some of these red wedge plates to perfectly match the shape of the wings and the very end of the tail. See, this is why you gotta use some of your system pieces alongside your Bionicle parts. Because man, there really aren't any Bionicle elements that could perfectly match the exact shape and colors of these areas. Sometimes there's jobs that only system pieces can accomplish. Oh, and I do like the use of all of these CCBS bone pieces on the mock. We see them here on the limbs in lime. These perfectly recreate Flygon's very thin limbs. And they look like they'd have a pretty good amount of posability too. Love to see it. Now, sadly, these pieces don't exist in lime, but when you're building a digital mock, you can do whatever you want, baby. Also, these CCBS armor shells. Really good choice to use these to replicate Flygon's body. I like too that the belly ends with one of these large Borok windscreen pieces in lime. I never would have thought that a solid color Borok windshield piece would look this good alongside CCBS pieces. So hey, maybe you could use the black one that comes on Von Nebula's back. Well, you get two of them. You could use those alongside some other black CCBS armor pieces. That could look good on your next creation. Rahiden is up next, and they've built one of my favorite bug-type Pokemon. It's Yanmega. So here's a nice side-by-side with the real thing and this mock, and dude, this is amazing. I mean, look at this eye design. Using the red Borok limb piece that comes on, a set much like this one, that was literally the perfect piece. It looks just like compound eyes. The natural grooves on the side of this piece really do make it look so bug-like. And then great idea to use some of these basic white Technic beams for the wings. Simple, but very effective. And then on the legs, black CCBS bones, a hand socket, and an axle at the end. Mate, that is a great way to help make Yanmega's teeny tiny legs. It's just mind-blowing how simple this mock is, but also how accurate it is. And it's only using Technic and Bionicle pieces. Before I was like, yeah, you gotta use system pieces, otherwise you're just not gonna be able to accomplish building a Pokemon that looks super accurate. Turns out I'm wrong, because this mock uses no system pieces and looks incredibly accurate. I ain't ever seen anything like this. This is majestic. I love this so much. Now over to Care Creations, who has revamped Kabutops. Here's some images of actual Kabutops, right next to the mock. And yeah, using a large amount of Technic panel pieces for the head, and partnering it with some of these brown and silver CCBS armor shells. Mate, that looks just like the armor on Kabutops. And what a great part use too to use some of these wing elements that come on Vampira, this set right here. Instead of using them for wings, use them for Kabutops blades. The shape of this piece, the curvature of it, it's actually a perfect match. Dude, we're seeing so many well-crafted Pokemon Bionicles today. The part use, the shaping, it's all so impressive. The level of accuracy in these Pokemon mocks, it's insane. And yeah, I guess we're sneaking in an extra Pokemon as well, because we've got a little base down here. And if you look carefully, you can see Kabuto, the pre-evolution of Kabutops. And that's fun. Build a little stand for your Pokemon to stand on, and at the bottom you can put a few other smaller Pokemon. 2 for the price of 1. Love it. Plus, Kabuto looks frickin' adorable. Now let's finish off with a childhood favorite of mine. This is the legendary Pokemon Dialga. And this was masterfully crafted by God Turtle Bricks. Ah, Dialga. There's just so much like majesty to this Pokemon. And this is flawlessly recreated in Lego bricks. What a sight to behold. Now we can see the legs are made up using some of these system ball and socket style pieces. You know, it's pieces like this. Whether they're the ratchet type joint piece or the ball and socket variant, you see these things in a lot of modern day Lego mechs. But they also appeared in a lot of older sets, like Exoforce for example. They're the perfect thing to use to recreate humanoid designs. Or designs for creatures like we can see on this mock. So yeah, if you don't own any of these pieces, I recommend picking some up. They are very, very helpful. On top of that too, they're super posable, and yeah, you can make stuff like this. Now yeah, this mock is very system heavy, not too much Bionicle being used. But hey, you know, the more system pieces you use, the more accurate your Pokemon is gonna look. It lets you really get down into the little nitty-gritty details. But that being said, there is one Bionicle piece being used here. It's this claw piece on the end of Nex's arm. If we take a closer look at Dialga's chest, you can see it poking out right there. Man, they fit right at home with these other brick-built spikes on the head, the tail, and the chest. This has been so seamlessly integrated, it's beautiful. And that's it for a bundle of brilliant Pokemon mocks. Hopefully taking a look at these has inspired you, and maybe you'll try building a Pokemon mock for yourself. If you liked the mocks I showed you today, check the links below. In the description below, you'll see their social media. Go and check out these builders' work and see the other stuff that they have to offer. Also in the description below, and on your screen right now, you'll see the submission email. If you want to have your mock featured on the Bionicle Inspiration series, send it to that email, and I'll do my best to feature you in an upcoming episode. That's all for today though, guys. Thank you so much for watching, happy building, and bye for now.